The NARSINGH UTTARA TAPANIYA UPANISHAD, presented by Svayam Sharma, part 4 of 5. This part contains the 6th and the 7th khand. In the 6th khand, we learn that there are two stages of the Atma, a lower stage and a higher stage. In the lower stage, the duality of evil is not yet fully overcome, but continues to remain in the Atma, while in the higher stage, all duality is extinguished and the Atma, purely negative, becomes a void. In the latter stage of the Atma, one is busy detaching himself from the world and from all its interests. The seventh khand establishes the identity of the Atma and the Brahm through the word Om and NARSINGH through three equations. The Upanishad. The gods desired to know this Atma, but the demonic evil wanted to devour the gods. Then the gods thought, instead of letting the demonic evil devour them, let us instead devour the demonic evil. It so happened that through the duo of Narsingh and Anushtubh, the gods discovered that Atma shining at the tip of the Om sound. The Atma in reality is only the fourth of the four attributes of Turiya. And the four attributes of Turiya are the inwoven, the assenter, the assent, and the indifferent. That Atma really is the indifferent or the detached, the fourth. The gods knew this Atma as Ugra and as non-Ugra, as Veer and as non-Veer, as Mahan and as non-Mahan, as Vishnu and as non-Vishnu, as Jwalan and as non-Jwalan, as Sarvatomukham and as non-Sarvatomukham, as Narsingh and as non-Narsingh, as Bhishna and as non-Bhishna, as Bhadra and as non-Bhadra, as Mrityu Mrityu and as non-Mrityu Mrityu, as Namami and as non-namami, as aham and as non-aham. Then, for the gods, the demonic evil transformed itself into the light that consists of being, of thinking, and of bliss. Therefore, for one whose sin is not fully eradicated, he should know in this way, through the Narsingh Anushtubh, the Atma shining at the tip of the Om sound, and who is the fourth of the fourth. For such a one, the demonic evil transforms itself into the light, which consists of being, of thinking, and of bliss. The gods strove to be beyond that light, but they had misgivings of duality. So they searched further through the Narsingh Anushtubh for the one at the tip of the Om sound, the one who is the fourth of the fourth, and through the Pranav, they entered into him as their goal. Then that light, which shone gloriously before this whole world, became for the gods the lightless, the secondless, the unthinkable, the attributeless, the self luminous void consisting wholly of bliss. One who knows this, he too becomes the self luminous. He too becomes the highest Brahm. The gods gave up the desire for progeny. They gave up the desire for sons and daughters. They gave up the desire for possessions. They gave up all the desires for the world. And they gave up the desire of all that which would help in fulfilling all such desires. They then moved about without ego. They moved about without residence, without family, without hair tuft, without the sacrificial thread. They moved like the blind, the deaf, the dumb. They moved like fools, like the impotent, like the insane. They became calm, tamed, renouncing, patient, and collected. They took delight in the Atma. They played with the Atma. They joined with the Atma. And they took delight in the Atma. They saw Pranav as the highest Brahm, as the void shining through itself. and they all passed away into that Pranav. Therefore, one who follows the way of the life of the gods, he passes away in the Om sound, which is the highest Brahm. He sees the highest self, the highest Brahm, the soul of the universe in his own self, in his own self, in his own soul. On this, we have the following verse. In the three horns, A, U, and M, we have the hornless Turiya. Catch hold of the lion in the three horns. The three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra, sit relaxed and leisurely after joining the horn M with the two other horns, A and U. Om is equal to Atma, is equal to the lion, is equal to the Atma. Once it so happened that the god said to Prajapati, "Exalted sir, please instruct us further." Prajapati said, "So be it." He then said to the gods, by means of the A sound of Om, one should search for the Atma, which is unborn, which is unaging, which is unfading, which is immortal, which is fearless, which is without grief, which is without delusion, which is without hunger and thirst, and which is without a second. Then, with the U sound of Om, he should search for the highest lion, who is the exalted, who procreates, who has come in from above, who raises up high, who looks up on high, who works up on high, who goes up on high, who shines up on high, who moves up on high, and who is above transformation, who is above all change, and who always remains the same. After which, catching the first half of the U sound, one should change the Atma into the lion as the A sound. Then, after that, catching that lion by the latter half of the U sound, one should, by means of the M sound, make the lion one with the Atma. For he is great, he is powerful, he observes boundaries, he is liberated, he is the grand God, he is the grand master, he is the grand being, he is the grand spiritual, he is the grand bliss, and he is the high authority. One who knows this, he becomes without body. He has no need of body. He becomes without organs. He has no need of organs. He becomes without breath. He has no need of breath. He becomes without darkness. He becomes consisting of being, of thinking, and of bliss. Om is equal to the Atma, an explanation of ascent and of Brahm. When one asks somebody, "Who are you?" the answer is Aham, or I. Similar is the case in respect of all that exists. Therefore, I, or Aham, is a name for all. The initial letter of Aham and the A sound in Om is the same, since the Atma, signified by the A sound of Om, is all. For the Atma is within all. For nothing can exist without having an Atma, without having a self, without having a soul as its substance. All this that is in existence is therefore the Atma. Therefore, one should investigate the Atma, which is the self of all, by means of the A sound, which expresses the self of all. Further, this whole world, all that exists, is Brahm, which consists of being, of thinking, and of bliss. That is, first of all that exists is being. For one says of all that exists, that is a being. Further, all this is thinking, for it shines and it appears And if you were to ask, what is being? The reply would be, being is becoming conscious of whether something is or whether something is not. But what is becoming conscious? The reply would be, it is this and it is not this, not with words, but only by becoming conscious. In the same way, one can explain the thinking and the bliss not through words, but one can understand them only by becoming conscious of them. Similarly, everything in the world must be conscious of the thinking and of the bliss of which the world consists. This is the highest bliss, that whose essence one must experience through one's inner core is called Brahm. The final syllable of Brahm and the M sound of Om is the same. Therefore, one should investigate the highest Brahm by means of the M sound. And if one is asked, is Brahm the Atma? Then the reply, without any hesitation whatsoever, has to be, should be, yes, it is the Atma. Therefore, one should search for the Atma with the A sound and should, without any hesitation whatsoever, bind him with the M sound as the Brahm through the U sound. One who knows this, he becomes without body. He has no need of body. He becomes without organs. He has no need of organs. He becomes without breath. He has no need of breath. He becomes without darkness. No doubts plague him. He becomes consisting only of being, of thinking, and of bliss. He becomes the self ruler. Thirdly, the third equation, Om is equal to Brahm, an exclamation of assent, yes, and Atma. This whole world is Brahm because it is eternal, and because it is Ugra, it is Veer, it is Mahan, it is Vishnu, it is Jwalan, it is Sarvotomukham, it is Narsingh, it is Bhishn, it is Bhadra, it is Mrityum, it is Namami, it is Aham. And Brahm is this eternal one because Brahm is also Ugra, is also Veer, is also Mahan, is also Vishnu, is also Jwalan, is also Sarvatomukham, is also Narsingham, is also Bhishna, is also Bhadra, is also Mrityum, is also Namami, is also Aham. Therefore, searching for the highest Brahm with the A sound, one should search for the Atma as the promoter of consciousness and of the organs with the M sound, and also as the spectator of the consciousness and of the organs. When he is asleep, then he does not supervise the universe. Then the universe is merged in him. And when he wakes up again, the universe emerges out of him after protecting the universe and again withdrawing it within himself, crushing, burning, and devouring it. He once again gives away his own self as the self of the objects that emerge from him. And at the same time, he continues to be the same. He continues to be Super Ugra, Super Veer, Super Mahan, Super Vishnu, Super Jwalan, Super Sarvato Mukham, Super Narsingh, Super Bhishna, Super Bhadra, Super Mrityum, Super Namami, Super Aham in his own majesty. Therefore, one should, without any hesitation whatsoever, bind this Atma as the M sound with the highest Brahm, as the content of the A sound through the U sound. One who knows this, he becomes without body. He has no need of body. He becomes without organs. He has no need of organs. He becomes without breath. He has no need of breath. He becomes without darkness. No doubts plague him. He becomes consisting only of being, of thinking, and of bliss. He becomes the self ruler. On this is the following verse: dragging the half horn U to the horn A. One should bind the half horn U with the horn A. And similarly, through this half horn U, one should then bind that horn A in the last horn M. This concludes part 4 of 5 of the NARSINGH UTTARA TAPANIYA UPANISHAD, consisting of the 6th and the 7th khand. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.